the sole administrator of River State, Vice Admiral Ibok Ete Ekweibas, retired earlier this week, dismantled the governance structures of the entire 23 local government areas of the state. He also dissolved key agencies such as the River State Independent Electoral Commission. Those decisions have been described by certain stakeholders, both from within and outside River State, as potentially detrimental to various efforts being made to restore peace and normalcy to the embattled oil-rich state. Well, Promise Reginald is the chairman of the Omuma local government area of River State. He joins us now. Thank you for joining us here on Newsday.
Thank you so much for having me.
There's much to talk about concerning River State and the sole administrator's actions as of late, but given recent reports of a federal high court restraining the sole administrator from making these appointments, what is your understanding of the legal standing of these appointments that he's made?
Okay, thank you. What has happened in River State, to tell you the truth, democracy has been killed and buried in River State. As I speak to you, the sole aim why the sole administrator was sent to River State, according to Mr. President, was to foster peace amongst the both parties, having the political conflict. But on the very first week, we actually thought the sole administrator did well by calling the chiefs and the head of local governments and having engagements with them. But afterwards, what has happened is a clear move to show the world that this whole thing is targeted at the governor of River State. Because one, why will the sole administrator come and act as if he's an elected governor of River State? I know Mr. President is not aware of this whole thing, but coming on ground, we expected the sole administrator, who is on ground, to give him first-hand information. Dismantling the structures, a working system, well-democratically system that was set up by the governor, is impunity. How do you explain to Rivers people that you dissolved the RISEC that is responsible for conducting local government election, and you appointed some persons? Who gave you those names? You're supposed to meet with key critical stakeholders before decisions are made. As a matter of fact, the sole administrator is not empowered by the law to conduct election in River State. Also, as if that was not enough, they have gone ahead to release names of people that will oversee the affairs of the local government in the 23 local government. This whole thing is impunity. And I'm aware that Mr. President is not aware, but it's high time we speak up and tell the world what is happening in River State. The Supreme Court justices gave a clear judgment that this thing should not happen. I have a copy of that judgment delivered by Honorable Justice Emmanuel Ajibs. I can read it for you. Where they don't have the powers. You don't even have the powers to act as a governor. In that particular judgment, the part of it said, the law is settled by a long line of decision of this court that by the virtue of Section 1, Subsection 2, and Section 7, Subsection 1 of the 1999 Constitution, local government must be democratically elected local government council and no other body, and that the government or administration of a local government area by a state government, governor of a state, local government caretaker committee, interim local government council, administrator, boldly written, head of local government, or whatever the name called by any other state agency or other body is not in accordance with the 1999 Constitution, is therefore unconstitutional, illegal, and of no effect. So now I want to ask, is River State not part of Nigeria? Is the Constitution not part of what we are doing here in this state? Are we in a full-blown military regime? Where if you tell us that we're in a full-blown military regime, then we'll go back home and sleep. Because what is happening is clear provocation aimed at the governor, so that the supporters of the governor we want to resist, they will now use in the guise of that, and cause mayhem in the state. So I want to tell the entire world that the sole administrator do not have the constitutional powers to do everything that he has done. Dismantling all structured. You went to Local Government Service Commission, and you also appointed the first cousin of the FCT minister. Is that proper? So I don't know why the whole world, the Nigerians, are keeping quiet. See democracy buried in a state like River State. The people have remained calm. We have remained calm and will continue to be calm. The silence of the governor is enough protest because some persons are calling. Why are we not on the street protesting? The silence of the governor is enough protest because the governor knows that the moment he makes a move, our people, we might not be able to curtail them. So it's high time the sole administrator understand that the reason why he's here is not for a particular group alone. The sole administrator was supposed to come, call both parties, see how we can bring political peace in this state, because we have normalcy in the state, but there's this political crisis going on. So we expected to have held meetings with the sole administrator from both ends, the FCT minister and the governor of the state, so we can tell Mr. President that we are ready as a people to move the state forward. Instead, what we are seeing is impunity, injustice, and unconstitutional, as I speak to you.
Now, Mr. Reginald, what steps do you think can be taken at this point to address concerns and challenges arising from this appointment and to ensure effective governance in Rivers State?
The only way forward is Mr. President to call the sole administrator to order. As I even speak to you on national television, we receive threats every day from those supporting the FCT minister. After talking to you right now, if in any way they come and say they want to arrest me, I am not scared. Every day what we see is, they come, they say, if you go to television to talk, we use federal might to do this. Federal might what? Are we not part of Nigerians? What can be done is for the president of the country to call the sole administrator that the reason why you are being sent to Rivers State is not to go and cause more mayhem, more to cause provocation on the people, because this will lead to problems, and we don't want problems. The sole administrator is a man who has gained a very good reputation, passing through the rigorous process of the military. So we expected, with his wealth of experience, that he is going to come and see how you bring peace to the state. Instead, what we see on daily basis is very provocative. It's just provocations. And the governor has decided to maintain peace. The governor said he will maintain peace until the end of the 6 months. Even beyond that, he's going to maintain peace. So now, as a people, we want to bring it before this will cause problems. That please, we don't want problems. The president has to call the sole administrator to order, because the FCT minister and his supporters, their supporters are boasting every day that yesterday they actually made a publication about recruiting 10,000 persons. 1 hour later, they canceled it. So if you're no longer in charge, Nigerians should know. You should know, because the FCT ministers and his supporters, they keep bragging on daily basis, they're going to do this, they're going to do that. Let me bring it to your notice what happened yesterday. This is a shame, total shame to democracy. As I speak to you yesterday, in the Nugget Consulate, all the HAGAs and all the TR of the 22 local government assembled. These people were summoned by the purported administrators of the local government. Fine, if you wanted to do that, this person, they don't have the power. We always saw them on social media, where they summoned all of them to come and change the signatories of all the 23 local government accounts so that they can be able to access the funds. So for me, this is all about the money of Rivers State, and also in a way to dismantle whatever peace arrangement that we have made over time. So Mr. President, we are calling on Mr. President to please call the sole administrator to order, because what is happening, we just want to believe maybe there will be a refutal that those publications are not coming from him. Because if it's coming from him, this is very unjust and it's not proper. Because as politicians, we, by the time we lead in this manner, the younger ones are looking, they are watching. So how do you expect to have a better Nigeria when there will not be peace, when there will not be maybe balance in the whole arrangement we're making? So this is improper. I want to stand up. I'm speaking for myself. I'm not speaking for the governor. I'm not speaking for anybody apart from the provoked Rivers youths that we have told them to remain calm, but Mr. President should come to our aid, because what is happening in Rivers is impunity, and it's very, very wrong in its entirety. I stand here to condemn it, and I'm sure I want to commend everybody who have lended their voice, like one of your reporters. What was his name? What was that guy's name? People who have been speaking out that this is wrong. It's not because of his Sasimilai Fubara. This can happen anywhere in Nigeria. It can happen in any of the states. And if we keep quiet and bury democracy, I am very sorry that at some point we are going to stand to regret all these things. So the FCT minister's position or whatever he wants does not supersede the Constitution, the Supreme Court. That judgment was delivered by Supreme Court. So are you trying to tell me that the FCT minister and his allies are bigger than Supreme Court, they're bigger than the Constitution? If they are bigger, they should tell us. So we will now know that we don't have democracy in Rivers State. Thank you so much.
Well, there might not be a need to explicitly tell us the situation, because we know how historically it has gone. You have been asking for, well, many people have been asking for the president to intervene in this matter, but he already has. He did so once before, and we saw a situation in which he somewhat did not call the FCT minister to order and seems to have created more of a monster. Many people are asking the president to call the FCT minister to order. What is the likelihood of that happening if the FCT minister's own party have left him to run amok for months on end? The Constitution, just as you said, seems to be just a piece of paper, and Supreme Court orders are flouted every day. So what are you and other individuals prepared to do in the instance that the president does not again intercede in this situation, seeing as how maybe Minister Wike is not so easy to wrangle and get in order?
Why I still fall back on the president is because he's the commander-in-chief. He's the number one enforcer of the Nigerian Constitution. The president has the powers, he has every means to bring a lasting solution, which is to bring the FCT minister and tell him, what is the problem? I expected them to have, called the both parties and said, okay, what is the problem? What's the way forward? Instead, what the sole administrator is doing here is something to write home about. It's not even something to talk about. Why I still fall on the president? Because I believe only the president have the power to do so. Who is the employer of the FCT minister is Mr. President. Mr. President has total authority to say the FCT minister, the governor, do A or do B or do C. So we have to fall back, apart from God Almighty. Since they have refused to obey the Nigerian Constitution, they have refused to obey the Supreme Court's judgment, what else do you want us to do? Because I don't know where they derive the power from, why they are going ahead and act as if he is elected governor of the state. I don't know where they derive the power from. He's from Amadioha, I don't know. Because as I speak to you, we have called God Almighty, we have called on the president. And we can't take laws into our hands. The governor, you know him, is a very peaceful man. He said we are going to maintain peace until the very end. So we don't have any other means. The only person that can, bring solution to this problem is Mr. President. That's why I keep calling on the president. Because who else? The FCT minister will not listen to you and I, so it's only the president that can tell the FCT minister, how do we bring peace? Because you can't bring peace by dismantling the entire structure of the governor. We're not talking about political structure. We're talking about a working system. You can't remove everybody from the RISEC, from the Board of Internal Revenue, all the sources, the contracts, cancellation of contracts, and the rest of them. We can't make headway like this. And that's the reason why we're here to speak out and call on Nigerians to please come to our aid. Because I speak to you right now, we don't know what else to do apart from to call on the president. Not like the governor, mind you, the governor has over 80% of the people supporting the governor. And if this is aimed at because they've been blackmailing us that we're not supporting the president, that is fallacy. As a matter of fact, the FCT minister did not alone bring Mr. President, did not alone, make him win in 2023. We all collectively did that. So the president is for president of you and I. It's not for just him alone. So I wonder where the cheap blackmail is coming from. We all supported. As a matter of fact, whatever thing you're going to do in a bid to, return Mr. President, like he said in one of the publications, that his job is to return Rivers and Abuja, you can't do this alone. You need the people to do that. Unless you're telling us you want to do abracadabra, and the abracadabra, you need humans. So we must work together as people. And before you even talk about re-election, what about the ordinary Rivers people? The businesses have been affected. Look at the MBA conference that was supposed to hold in this state has been moved to Enugu, bringing more economical woes to the state. So we can't make headway like this. The ordinary citizens, what about them? This is not about the politics alone or the politicians. What about Rivers people who cannot, invest their money anymore because there's this tension that nobody knows what's going to happen tomorrow? So a lot is at stake. The people is at stake. The economy is at stake. Everything is at stake as we speak to you.
Mr. Reginald, talking about tension in Rivers State, I'd like you to comment on the ethnic dimension that the crisis in the state is taking at the moment and what role you think the sole administrator can play to nip this in the bud.
If you're talking about ethnicity, the support base of the governor cuts across all the ethnic groups in Rivers State. The Queries are not in support of this. The Ogonis are not in support. The Eches, the Krikas, and the rest of them, even the Jaws are not in support of this because they know that impunity remains impunity. So what the sole administrator is expected to do is before you take any decision that that might look as if you're targeting a particular group, Why not bring stakeholders, non-politicians, consult from both ends and ask them the way forward? You can't be dismantling a structure and fixing names. Who are giving you those names? I want to know those giving you those names. So it's high time the sole administrator stand in the middle. Don't support the FCT minister or the pro-governor group. You're supposed to act in the best interest of all of us and give Mr. President the first-hand information that look at the real position of things and look at the way forward, and not going against the Constitution. Why would you want to bring local government administrators? You don't have such power to do so. It's against the judgment of the Supreme Court. So why is all this impunity happening? The solution, the way forward, is for the sole administrator to be in the middle. Because on the long run, all of us will lose as Rivers people, and we don't want that. Our political interest does not supersede the interest of Rivers people. The interest of Rivers people must come first before our own interest. So the sole administrator must stand in the middle and not allow any party feel like the whole thing looks as if you were actually brought to play the bid of the FCT minister.
Well, very strong words. We will continue to watch as the crisis in Rivers State evolves. Thank you so much for joining us this afternoon. Chairman of Omuma Local Government Area of Rivers State, Promise Reginald.